Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor to have President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of the Philippines, a great family legacy, and highly respected in this country. I know that because I have many friends in the Philippines, and there's great respect, or I couldn't say it, so congratulations.
Thank you.
We're going to be talking about trade. We're going to be talking about war and peace. They're a very important nation militarily.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. I am pleased to inform everyone that for the first time in over a decade, a significant natural gas discovery has been made. The discovered reservoir, called Malampaya East 1 or MAE-1, is located about 5 kilometers east of the existing Malampaya Field. The MAE-1 is estimated to contain around 98 billion cubic feet of gas in place. Katumbas nito ang halos 14 na bilyong kilowatt-hour ng kuryente sa isang taon. Ibig sabihin, makakapag-supply ito ng kuryente sa mahigit 5.7 milyong kabahayan, 9,500 na gusali o halos 200,000 paaralan sa loob ng isang taon. This helps Malampaya's contribution and strengthens our domestic gas supply for many years to come. Initial testing showed that the well flowed at 60 million cubic feet per day. This indicates that the well has the potential to produce even more, confirming it is a high productivity resource comparable to the original Malampaya wells. Aside from the natural gas, the discovery also includes condensate, which is a high-value liquid fuel. This additional resource can help support the government's efforts for the stabilization of our power supply. Ipinagmamalaki rin natin na Pilipino ang nanguna sa drilling na ito. Higit sa lahat, natapos nila ito na walang aksidente o environmental incident. MAE-1 is the first milestone under the Malampaya Phase 4 drilling campaign, which also includes the Camago 2 and the Bagong Pag-asa wells. The next steps are the completion and testing of the Camago 3, followed by the drilling of the Pag-asa exploration well to pursue more potential gas resources. This achievement was made possible through the work of the SC38 Consortium led by Prime Energy in partnership with UC38, PNOC Exploration Corporation, and Prime Oil and Gas Incorporated. Patunay ito na sa responsableng pangangalaga sa kaligsasan at matibay na pagtutulungan ng gobyerno at pribadong sektor, makakamit natin ang mas maaasahang supply ng enerhiya para sa bawat Pilipino.
On a clear January morning this year, the Philippines unveiled what many analysts are calling a transformative moment in the nation's energy history, a discovery that promises to reshape its economic prospects, assert its sovereign rights at sea, and amplify a long-running contest over maritime authority in Southeast Asia. The announcement came from the nation's capital, where President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. declared that a significant deposit of natural gas had been discovered beneath the waters off Palawan Island within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone in the South China Sea. The new reservoir, named Malampaya East 1, lies roughly 5 kilometers east of the long-operating Malampaya gas field, the backbone of the country's indigenous gas production for more than 2 decades. According to government assessments and industry sources, the Malampaya East 1 find contains an estimated 98 billion cubic feet of natural gas, a volume that could meaningfully bolster the Philippines' domestic energy supply and provide a cushion against expensive imports of liquefied natural gas and other fossil fuels. This helps Malampaya's contribution and strengthens our domestic gas supply for many years to come, the president said in a video message announcing the discovery, underscoring its importance not just as an energy resource, but as a strategic asset for national development. That initial statement captured the dual nature of the event as both an economic opportunity promising jobs, revenue, and power reliability, and a geopolitical fulcrum around which regional tensions are unfolding. For years, policymakers in Manila have wrestled with the challenge of ensuring stable, affordable energy for one of Southeast Asia's fastest growing economies. The Philippines imports the majority of its fuel for electricity generation, a dependency that has made its power sector vulnerable to international price swings and contributed to some of the highest retail electricity costs in Asian economies. The original Malampaya gas complex, which began producing in 2002 and has supplied about 20% of Luzon's electricity demand, has been in decline. Industry projections suggested that without new reserves, the field could approach depletion within the next few years, raising fears of supply shortfalls and higher energy bills. The Malampaya East 1 discovery effectively extends the life of the country's natural gas frontier. During field tests, the well flowed at approximately 60 million cubic feet per day, indicating robust productivity and hinting at the well's potential to be commercially viable if further exploration and development proceed as planned. Energy officials and industry analysts describe the find as a game changer, noting that it could narrow the gap between domestic supply and demand while providing a bridge toward broader energy diversification and cleaner fuel transition. Natural gas already emits fewer greenhouse gases than coal when used for power generation, and boosting indigenous resources could help the Philippines manage both affordability and environmental obligations. At a practical level, the volume of gas in place at Malampaya East 1, roughly equivalent to nearly 14 billion kilowatt hours of electricity per year, could supply power to millions of households. Some estimates suggest the reserve could provide enough electricity annually to serve more than 5.7 million homes, a major contribution in a nation of over 110 million people. Local government leaders have already begun to mobilize around the discovery's expected benefits. Officials in Palawan, the province closest to the field, have appealed to national authorities to ensure the region receives a share of revenues and developmental assistance tied to the new resource, framing the field as a cornerstone of future economic growth and infrastructure development. Yet this discovery, while welcomed by many in Manila, has not unfolded in isolation from broader security challenges that have defined relations in the South China Sea for decades. The waters off Palawan lie within the Philippines' seas as defined by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which grants Manila exclusive rights to explore and exploit natural resources within 200 nautical miles of its coast. But overlapping territorial claims, particularly those asserted under China's controversial 9-dash line, have made enforcement of these rights at sea a persistent challenge. In the week following the announcement, the armed forces of the Philippines and the Philippine Coast Guard moved swiftly to bolster patrols and maritime monitoring around the Malampaya East 1 site. Continuous naval presence, coastal surveillance aircraft, and the deployment of offshore patrol vessels have signaled Manila's intent to safeguard its newly discovered natural asset. One senior military spokesperson insisted that these deployments are preemptive and protective rather than provocative, emphasizing that the measures are designed to ensure that no hostile forces can disrupt operations or threaten critical infrastructure. When we protect Malampaya, we are not only defending our territory, we are protecting the nation's power source, economy, and future, said a senior armed forces representative, echoing broader government messaging that frames security operations around the field as a necessary extension of national sovereignty. The PCG has specifically deployed its 97-meter offshore patrol vessel along with additional patrol craft and aerial assets to maintain a vigilant presence in the area. These operations have been described by officials as routine in nature, but symbolic in scope, illustrating Manila's determination to exercise its rights even as regional contestations continue. Security deployments have not happened in a vacuum. Manila's diplomatic corps, led by Foreign Affairs Secretary M.A. Teresa Lazaro, has actively engaged with counterparts region-wide to frame the discovery and related maritime activity within a broader diplomatic context. On January 26, the Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs lodged firm representations with the Chinese embassy in Manila, expressing concern about an intensifying exchange of rhetoric tied to the South China Sea dispute. The diplomatic note highlighted recent criticisms by Chinese officials toward Philippine authorities and called for an approach rooted in mutual respect and peaceful dialogue. While Beijing has not publicly issued a detailed policy statement specifically in reaction to Malampaya East 1, the underlying currents of tension remain evident. China maintains expansive maritime claims across much of the South China Sea, overlapping with the Philippines' seas and those of other littoral states. Manila has repeatedly invoked international law, including the 2016 arbitration ruling that invalidated China's 9 dash line claims as the legal foundation for its positions. In parallel, the Philippines recently hosted a retreat for foreign ministers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations to address pressing regional issues, including tensions in the South China Sea. Secretary Lazaro used the platform to reaffirm Manila's commitment to upholding a rules-based order and to encourage greater regional cooperation to manage disputes through dialogue, restraint, and international law. Other Asian claimants with overlapping interests, including Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan, are watching developments closely. Each has its own stakes in how disputes are managed, and the pace and tone of diplomatic engagement among these states will be critical in shaping the region's strategic trajectory. Back home, the gas discovery has been widely welcomed by political leaders, industry stakeholders, and civic groups alike. Economists have highlighted the potential for the find to help address short-term energy volatility, diversify the energy mix, and reduce dependence on imported fuel, a long-standing objective of Philippine energy policy. Civil society organizations have called on Manila to assert its sovereign rights robustly while maintaining an outward focus on peace and stability in the region. President Marcos has framed the situation as a careful balance, defending sovereign rights, engaging diplomatically with neighboring capitals, and deepening cooperation with external partners who share commitments to international norms governing maritime conduct. The president has reiterated Manila's preference for peaceful negotiation, even as military and Coast Guard assets remain vigilant. This dual approach, diplomatic engagement alongside firm defense measures, reflects a broader strategic posture taking shape in Manila as the Philippines navigates a complex web of domestic energy imperatives and regional security realities. As exploration and development plans advance, so too will the conversations about resource management, maritime rights, and defense cooperation in the Indo-Pacific. The Malampaya East 1 discovery, while still in its early stages, has already become a bellwether for how smaller states can leverage natural resources to bolster both economic resilience and geostrategic standing. For the Philippines, the challenge now is to translate this discovery into enduring value for its citizens while avoiding escalation in an already contested maritime environment. For neighboring capitals and external partners alike, how Manila navigates these waters politically, diplomatically, and operationally will be a critical test of regional norms and commitments in the years ahead.